What's good? What's good? What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me in effect tonight. I got my brother Jace. Where you been, man?
Trying to retire, man. Life is good.
I hear you. That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing. My brother JP, what's going on, fam?
What up, hey? How you?
Everything quiet. Everything quiet. Porsche, what's good, baby?
How's it going?
Everything is good. Everything is good. My man Vague, what's good?
Chilling, man. Boubardier, people's champion.
And I got my man Gnu just in time. What's going on, Gnu?
Yo, everything is good, man. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, you straight, bro. You straight.
Peace, everybody. Peace.
We already know what it is. Let's get right into it. We halfway through the year 2016. Some people 2016, 2018. Y'all can tell I'm bugging tonight. I sent that in the email too. Porsche, like, nigga, we still talking about 2016? Like, nah, you right. People talk about this one of the dopest years of hip hop. I mean, I was just going through doing a list tonight. I'm like, just in 6 months, you had Dave East, The Paranoia 2, Evidence, Whether or Not, Sky Zoo, and Celebration of Us. Porsche's Man, You Got, Bring Back God 2. You know, you had A New Dawn, OC, Victory Lap, Nipsey Hussle, Fever, Black Milk, Jericho Jackson, The Elzai and the Crisis. You had Kanye Jay. You had No Question with Locksmith and Apollo Brown, Redemption, J Rock, Stream of Thoughts, The Black Tape with Conway, Magnificent 3 with Jazzy Jeff, No News is Good News, Fonte, Logic, Currency, Prime 2, Fly God is Good All the Time, West Side with Mr. Green, Wasted Talent, Jim Jones, KOD, J. Cole, Book of Rhymes with Royce, Styles P joint, Nick Grant new album, Daytona, Nas, you had Nas new joint, Freeway's new joint, West Side Gun, Supreme Blientele, Kid See Ghost, Kid Cudi, Rosebud's Revenge, Rock Marciano. That's a hell of a list for 6 months, you know. So just off the top of all of that, like, this 2018, is it gonna rank up in there for y'all as one of the dopest years, you know, for what we've gotten so far? Vague, what you think?
I think it depends on how it finishes, because last year was pretty stacked also, and shit, I think the year before that was also. But I guess it depends on how it evens out, because there is a lot of dope stuff. And I mean, you even named some stuff that I didn't even know came out. I don't think you mentioned Freddie Gibbs, who also put out a dope joint. But it's up there. It's for damn sure up there. But, you know, we only halfway, and that's what's crazy about it. Right.
But I guess maybe a better question, what do you think of the halfway mark? Has this been like one of the best halfway points so far?
Yeah, I think so, because like, given some of the names that you mentioned, you know, I feel like on my podcast, a lot of times, every time I was doing, like, you know, it's the new year, I would think like, are we going to get a Black Thought album? Are we going to get that Nas album? Are we going to get this? And it seemed like all of that happened, and we're only at the halfway point. So, yeah, it's shaping up to be one of those kinds of years. So,
all right, no doubt. What about you, Porsche?
I think quantitatively it'll be up there, 2018. I think on the quality side, not so much. And that's largely attributed to Kanye and these like rushed albums that he keeps putting out. So, I mean, that's just a handful out of the, you know, like, I don't know, dozens that you just mentioned. But I think quantitatively, this will definitely be like a year to remember. Quality wise, not so much, but there's definitely some really dope albums that drop. So.
Yo, my bad too. I forgot. Lonzo Ball dropped his mixtape, Born the Ball. So we also got to throw that in. Hey, man. Hey, you know.
Look. You could take him and Logic. Get them niggas up.
Oh, wow. You just do not like white MCs, Vegas. You just, man.
I like Eminem, man. What are you talking about?
I know. I'm only messing with you.
I'm white is MC.
All right, JP, what about you, bro?
It's, you know, for me, only time will tell. When I go back and revisit that year of the albums that came out, that's when I can really make that decision. From the looks of it, I can say yeah, but you got to go. Does it have staying power? Will it last a few years from now? So I got to go back. I could ask me that in a year, and I could have a definitive answer for you.
All right, no doubt. Jace, what about you?
JP hit the hammer on the head, man. It's dope right now, but with this influx of music, man, it's like there's so much noise. Good music staying on top and having that timeless authenticness factor is a big part of it. A lot of stuff gets lost in the sauce.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Gnu?
Yeah, man. A lot of shit came out 2018 this year, man, and a lot of crazy drops, and it was real interesting, man. But yeah, this so far, man, like everybody was saying, man, yeah, it's definitely got to pay attention to the quality that's coming out.
All right, all right. I think it's a dope. Yeah, I think even when I was reading off this list, I think I had 16 joints that I really like. Dave East, the Paranoia 2, I really fuck with that. The Ebb, Whether or Not, the Sky Zoo joint, the Victory Lap, Nipsey Hussle. I know I'm the only person, me, Ye, and Kim, who like the Ye album. Streams of Thought, the Black Tape, Conway, No News is Good. Like, there's at least 15 to 16 joints on here that like I really rock with. So I definitely think 2018 will, like Vague said, kind of looking at how it ends, how the year pans out, because I don't even know what else is still coming after all this shit. Like, I don't know who else is dropping. But yeah, I definitely think it's one of the dopest years. So Vague, we're doing our top 3 joints in 2016 so far. Which one of you, if you put them in order, that's good. If you didn't, whatever. So what will be your number 3 joint that's comes out so far this year?
I don't have them in any order, but Royce the 5'9", Book of Ryan. I feel like the last 3 years, Royce 5'9" has kind of been on my top of the year as far as his releases. But I feel like as far as his albums, this is his best album to me because I rock with his mixtapes hard, but his albums, sometimes I like them and then they kind of taper off for me.
Right.
But I was really impressed by this one lyrically and how much, because it's not like you want every song and every rapper on every album to give you a whole bunch of personal stories. Sometimes you want them to spit, but usually Royce kind of just spits. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like that when it first started. And I was like, well, it's not bad, but, it's kind of what I expected. But as he started to go into, stories about manhood, about him and his son, him and his father, you know what I'm saying, his family, and, just black males in general without being too preachy, but just telling his story. I mean, I was getting more and more into it, man. And as far as something that, makes a mark with you when you're listening to it, that's just not just bars and beats. I feel like it easily went up to one of the best of the year so far for me.
All right, no doubt. Royce with the Book of Ryan joint. Porsche, what about you?
I actually had Book of Ryan as well. And pretty much for the same reasons as what Vegas just said. So you just took all of it. So.
All right, no doubt. JP, what about you?
I had Book of Ryan with them too as well. Like it was one of my favorite. And like Vegas said, the last few years, his releases have been very strong, like very strong. And this is like a culmination of all that, like a great album. I was definitely impressed. It was a great balance of bars and songwriting, song structure, good hooks and things like that. So I had to appreciate that.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Jace, what about you?
Also had the Book of Ryan. It's a dope album, but another thing too, on top of everything that everyone else has said, something I paid attention to was the structure, how it was laid out, the songs, how they were segmented together. What am I trying to say? How they were
the arrangement.
The arrangement. Yes.
All right, cool. And Gnu, what about you?
Book of Ryan was in my list too, but at the early part of the year, an album that really resonated with me was Phonte. No News is Good News.
Yes.
That one, to me, that I like everybody was saying about Royce. I wasn't really like a fan of Phonte like that. I really wasn't. Little Brother was cool, but this album, when he dropped it, I feel like it was like, wow, like I was surprised, and it was like grown man music, you know what I mean? His rhymes in there, he had bars, he had messages. He was just speaking about, grown man shit that, cats over 40 go through. So early part of 2018, that was definitely an album that I was banging, and I wouldn't really put that in any kind of order, but out of the year, it's definitely in that 3.
Yeah, no doubt. Same with me. I got the Book of Ryan. Same thing everybody said. I think one of the things that a lot of people haven't paid attention to, I just did this mixtape. I called it 4 Years on 9 Mile. And I actually think Royce may have had maybe possibly the dopest 4-year lyrical run in hip hop. I mean, when you look at the first Prime album, like I felt like he blacked out on that. You know, then you throw in Trust the Shooter mixtape. You know, then he had his Bar Exam 4 mixtape. Then he had his Layers album. Then you had Prime 2, and then you had this Book of Rhyme. And it's like in the 4 years to drop those 6 albums, like lyrically, he just, to me, that literally could be maybe the best 4 years lyrically. And one of the things that Primo made a great point about was starting his lyrical run was Royce being sober for the first time. You know what I mean? So that was like a huge piece too, because Preem was even wondering, like, I don't know, you like, nigga, you don't drink no more. Like, I don't know how nice you're gonna be, you know. But then he said he heard that first joint, Prime, and was just like, and I just feel like Royce has been on a lyrical tear ever since there. So just like Vague said, I was hoping for a dope album, but I've always been let down by his albums. You know what I mean? I never felt the production was all the way there or whatever like that. So I just think that this was like, finally, we got that Royce album. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I've always wondered maybe how you guys think about this. Is it better to have your magnum opus album later in life versus the Nas disease of, you know, everybody always wanting you to live up to that, where it's like, okay, Royce has been building to this versus it, you getting this magnum opus first and then nothing you do after that can ever live up to that. But yeah, definitely Book of Rhyme was one of mine too. Vague, what's another one of your joints, bro?
I also had Fonte, No News is Good News. Just an album that does everything. You know what I'm saying? Like the homie said, you know, the topics, the subject matter speaks to me personally, but just the simple fact that I don't think you have to be 40 to feel what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's funny, you know what I'm saying? And it's humorous. And even if, you know, you're not that age, maybe you hear your older brother or your father talk like that or whatever, and it sounds dope. It has bars and he can sing. You know what I'm saying? So I just like it because it's the type of hip-hop album that I could put behind something like a Book of Ryan and not feel like I've been listening to too much hip-hop, let me switch. And I don't feel like, you know, like in some cases, like where I may listen to like a Drake album, you know, Drake is kind of gone way more in the singing side than the rap side, where sometimes I kind of yearn for the rap side, you know, when he has the one record or two. But Fonte always balances that out in such a unique way, whether he's doing a hook, he got a verse, he got a guest feature. The dude is just awesome, and he deserves, you know, way more praise and credit and attention than he gets when he drops these albums, because they're better than a lot of, you know, Legends albums that came out. So that was one of my 3.
No doubt. Oh, who you got?
I got Sky Zoo in Celebration of Us as my like second favorite, I guess, of the year. And I just, again, like much of the same reasons as other artists, like I just love the caliber of lyricism. I love like the whole album just flows. It's a solid album. Production's great. It's just a really, really good listen. So yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, the funny thing, Sky Zoo has a joint on there. I was trying to look it up real quick. I mean, I really like that album. Sky to me is one of the most slept on new school people that a lot of folks don't talk about. The joint I'm looking at is what is the joint called? Love is Love.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he lyrically just goes in on that. There's so many quotables just in that one song. And then I love the joint, the Stick Up Tape from Menace. That joint is just crazy too. So yeah, if cats haven't heard that Sky Zoo, please listen to that. JP, what you got up next?
Yeah, I need to give that Sky Zoo a listen. Like Vegas and Fonte, No News is Good News is one of my favorites of the year so far. Like it's, you know, like it's grown man rap, but you know, I've been a fan since Little Brother, you know, and Foreign Exchange and all that. So this album he's making is not a surprise, because if you're familiar with his lyrics, you can always see the growth in his lyrics from when they first dropped the listening and whatever. So I mean, it's not a surprise, and it's good to see him make an album like this that's so real, touches on so many topics, but it got bars, and you know he can spit. It's good music, man. So that's why it's in my top 3.
All right, no doubt. Jace, what you got? Don't tell me you got Phonte.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yo, on top of everything everybody said, yo, he just reminds me, and this just being personable, he reminds me of an uncle. I think everybody has an uncle, kind of sort of like him and their family. You know, can be a little wild, a little loose, can be very to the point, very direct, and can also be very introspective at times as well, man. He's all around. The way he spits, I think, is a direct depiction of who he is as an individual, a well-rounded person, very aware, can be very funny, can be very personable at times, and be very lyrical as well. Been a fan of him as well since Little Brother Foreign Exchange, and have been following his growth, and was not disappointed with this album.
All right, no doubt. Good news. What you got?
Another album that was dope to me that came out 2018. I don't know if the room will agree, but Czarface and MF Doom.
Okay.
Czarface meets Metalface. I don't know if y'all familiar, but
Yeah.
I was excited for the project to come out. That they had been talking about it for a while, and I'm a big Doom fan. I'm a big Czarface fan. I don't like every joint on there, but I was really I was pleased with it, man. That was a joint that I was definitely banging.
All right, I gotta check that out. I ain't really know too much about that joint, man. Yeah, but
it was kind of underground.
All right. No doubt. I guess I gotta finish this out with Phonte too, for again, all the reasons everybody said. I think one of the reasons I've always loved Phonte, if I'm not mistaken, I love giving props where they're due. I want to say Mr. Funky from Lords of the Underground is the first time I heard the phrase adult contemporary hip hop. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like, you know, when I was growing up in Philly, you had Power 99 that played, you know, the Jodeci, the Mary Jane, and you had WDAS that played my parents' music. They played the Luther and the Anita and the adult contemporary music. And I felt like that's what we've always needed in hip hop. And listening to this Phonte album, again, it's so similar to Royce that I felt like they were able to, like Vague said, walk this thin line of talking and sharing, but still having bars. You know what I mean? And still showing, like, you know, that's why I love to join Phonte just did the video. What is that? You know, I'll murder you niggas. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, don't get it fucked up. You know, I will still murder you niggas. You know, it ain't all, you know, jokes and laughs. But the joint that Jace held up, the Expensive Jeans, was my joint on that. You know, because for cats who ain't heard, I'm gonna spit a little bit of it. 7 days in a week, eat a steak every plate, it's a feast. Watch your weight, no mistake in the least, or else you too will dig the grave with your teeth. I wish I could fit in these expensive jeans, a waistline that'll rip the seams, and pharmaceuticals that sit between your heart medicine, cough medicine, blood thinners, and antihistamines. We got the ocean front view, but the scope is so limited because young niggas be dying of old nigga shit. Wifey sleeping in the guest rooms because you snore at night. It's like 40 years is 3/4 life. Our biggest fears was shot and armed robbery. Now our biggest fears are clots and oncology. Like, to me, that's just, I don't know how much more grown up you can get than that, you know, because, you know, JP and New Vague, two of my roommates from freshman year, both are cancer survivors, which to me is just unheard of to be 43 and to be a cancer survivor. You know what I mean? Like, so when he said that, you know, young niggas are dying of old nigga shit, you know, I call my moms and she'd be like, man, that's stuff that my friends are going through in their 60s and 70s, and you guys are going through it young. And then for me, when he hit me with the got a sleep app to tell you got sleep apnea, he all in the sheets with your CPAP. I've had sleep apnea since they was born, so I've been on a BiPAP for 12 years, you know. So, you know, this whole album just spoke to me. You know, the next joint about burying his dad, I hit the repass and ate the same shit that killed him. Like, he's dropping so many jewels. You know, one of my favorite lines, I tell it to my kids all the time, you know, by the time you realize that your father was right, you got a son telling you that you wrong. You know, it's just like, yo, dude is just a magician with the words. Like, his wordplay, like Vague said, I feel like whenever we talk hip-hop of the 2000s, it's always J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake, which is very, you know, the cats deserve it, but I don't know what more he has to do to get that fourth spot. You know, because he damn sure Mos Def deserves it. So, you know, definitely a great album there. Babe, what's another one for you, brother?
Another one for me, it might be interchangeable by the end of the year, but like right now, Pusha T, Daytona, that shit gets better and better every time I listen to it. The first time I listened to it, I think I was just trying to react to like, okay, let me hear the beats and let me hear some of the rhymes, and I wasn't really absorbing what was being presented. But like every time like for 7 songs, that shit is perfect because every time I start it, it feels like the beginning again, and the way it ends perfectly, and it's kind of like I don't mind starting the shit over. Those beats sound better, you know, every time I hear it. I can't get enough of the drug talk, even though I'm kind of a hypocrite because I hate it when fucking Griselda just hit me up with all the doop every fucking 5 minutes. I just be like, yo, turn that shit off. But when this nigga does it, I'm like, yeah, play that shit again. You know what I'm saying? I think what I really like about
everybody gets a pass. There's one person who gets a pass.
Yeah, somebody got to get a pass. But the thing that I like about Pusha T is, and I mean, I ain't no fucking English teacher, no shit, but I just like the way he enunciates it, because it's not like he's talking about some real, you know, like some educational shit. He's speaking very clearly when he talking some drug shit, and the way he lines up his bars and his punchlines and ties it all together, you just like when he finished, you just like, yeah, nigga, buy island, nigga, take over, nigga, yeah, do all that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It just sounds really good. He sounds, you know what it is? He sounds extremely polished as an MC. That's what I like about it. Right. It's the most polished album out of this whole run of the Kanye joints of the 7 songs, as far as lyrically and music. Except for the cover, I don't know what the fuck that got to do with Daytona. Who knows?
Well, you know, that Whitney Houston, that was her dresser or whatever.
Yeah, I know, man, but was that in Daytona? Like, I don't get it. So
bro. It's Kanye. Ye called him the day before it was coming out. Like, yo, I just paid $80,000 for this. I don't think Pusha gives a fuck. Like, just put the album out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It is. But it's funny, because Pusha's my number one too. Like you said, it gets better and better. And it's like, it's so funny you were in my head about like, I'm like, I don't know the right word to use, but the way like, and I guess it is enunciates like, and I remember he was on Ebro, and Ebro was saying the rhymes. He's like, nah, you got to say it like this. Like, you just saying a line. You can't say it like, you know, you acting like I really killed the baby. He's like, you got to enunciate it right. Like, I really killed the baby. Like, he does. He's like, yo, you can't just say my words. You got to say them the right way. Or I don't know if y'all saw the Drink Champs with him. Yeah. It's like, dude is fucking amazing, man. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, all he talks about is drugs, and I get it. But dude is an incredible MC. Like, he's truly incredible. Like, and Porsche will tell you, when the album dropped, I'm on Twitter just dropping quotables. Like, this dude just has, I don't know if there's ever been a time that I put an album on and been able to just be like, oh my God, another quotable. Like 5 seconds in, I ran away with the plug 2 like Truger. I'm like, yo, this nigga, like, Mills would always talk. We'd be like, yo, how does this nigga come up with new ways to talk about selling coke for like fucking 18 years? This nigga has been talking about the same shit for 18 years. A new way every time to make it even better.
He makes it sound so luxurious, man.
Yeah, it's like, yo, on the last album, something like, you know, mom's chilling in the Bahamas, probably in a pajama. Like, yo, it's just so, it's so crazy. And even like, yo, the What Will Meek do? Like, every day there's a new favorite song. Like, you know, when that nigga's like, Angel on the shoulder, what will we do? But the devil on the shoulder, what will Meek do? Papa Willie, tell the judge that I could know. Middle finger out the ghost, singing Machiavelli. Like, yo, man. I give up on this nigga, man. I give up on this nigga. And then like and it's so slick, you know, it was written by Nas, but it came from Quentin. Like, it's just so matter of factly that, yeah, to me the dude is a fucking monster, man. He's a monster. Porsche, what you got for your number one or for your third joint?
My number one is Fonte, and I kind of feel bad like repeating it over and over, but I like it for honestly all the reasons you guys said, and I think it's just like Kill, you nailed it when you said he's a magician with words. He is. I love the words that he uses. Like he's using medical terms. He's using, things that are a little bit more elevated than, I mean, I love the Daytona album. I do. I think it's great, but it seems so, I don't know, like when I put them side by side, I'm like, man, like Fonte's crazy with his lyrics and with his word choice and production, everything. Like everything is just on point with that. And I know you guys appreciate it because you guys have all said it, but that's my absolute favorite so far. So
I feel you. And the funny thing I forgot to say about Fonte, to me, he became what I always thought what Mos Def was gonna be. Like when I first heard Black Star, and then I heard Umi Says, I was like, man, this dude does it all. He's got lyrics, he's kind of funny, he's got a dope voice, he could sing, he could rap. And then Mo started acting and doing all kinds of different stuff. But that's really, I remember after Big died and everybody was like, yo, Jay got next. I remember being at 88.9 being like, nah, I really think this nigga Mos may have next, like is being that. And so I think Fonte kind of incorporated everything I thought Mos was going to be. JP, what's another joint for you?
Another joint for me, I have to say, is Fever by Black Milk.
Okay,
that album to me is really incredible. And for me, his past few albums have really been dope. From Album of the Year to Is the Hell Below, Tronic, all those albums, man. And this one is no different. Beats is always solid. I like how he mixed the live instrumentation with the drums and all that. And lyrically, he's dope, man. But I know I'm gonna get a good, solid, cohesive project, and that's what I usually get from him. And this is no different.
Okay, I gotta check that joint out. I've actually never listened to a Black Milk album.
Oh yeah, man.
What would y'all say is the best joint to start with?
Man,
I like Glitches. I like what was the joint?
No Poison, No Paradise is dope.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, that one. That one.
Hell Below joint is hot.
And he rhymes.
He rhymes. Yeah. Like Tronic is crazy to me because I mean it's crazy. He got a couple joints with Royce on that album too. Yep. I think a joint with Royce. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do knowledge into him. I gotta check that out. Jace, what you got up next, bro?
So this is not my number one, but it is definitely it's knocking on my top three. I'm just adding to everything everybody said about Pusha T. This album was so dope that he had me looking at the Daytona, and I can't stand the way that joint looks. Out of all of the Rolexes, I love watches. The Daytona is the worst one in my opinion, and that's what the album off of.
Yeah,
that's like one of his favorites. That's like the worst looking Rolex. I looked at him like, yo, maybe it ain't that bad. But for me, it would be Crisis and Elzhi, Jericho Jackson. I think that's a solid, dope album. Kudos to Crisis on the production. Elzhi gives you Elzhi. He's definitely spitting, and he also changes up the content a little bit too.
Yeah, it's funny. That joint, I was really anticipating that. Like, the beats really didn't move me on that joint. Like, I mean, it's, of course, it's not whack. It's just, maybe it was the expectations because I fucked with Crisis.
Yeah, it was the expectation.
Because I was like, okay, boom, Elzhi. Like,
yeah.
Like, okay, here we go. And it was like, and I was just like, they got that one joint that samples that PE horn.
Yeah.
I love that joint. But then after that, it kind of was just like, okay, it kind of just faded away, and it never pulled me back in. So, but I need to give it another listen. I just gotta get this Pusha T the fuck out the way. I can't get that shit out the way. Like, that's in the CD player. When I hook up my iPhone, it comes on. Like, it's on any piece of music instrumentation in this house. You hit anything, Pusha T is gonna start playing. So I just gotta get Pusha out the way someday, somehow. Gnu, what you got up?
Yeah, this isn't my number one, but one that we didn't name, KOD, man, J. Cole. I felt like that was a dope joint. But my number one, I would have to agree with everybody else, man, with that Pusha T, man. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody said, from start to finish, man. Every beat, every rhyme, every bar was executed perfectly, man, with the most like everybody was saying, his verbiage, man, his English was just crazy, man. So yeah, man, Daytona, I would say is my that's my number one.
And I think the other great thing about Pusha is he's one of the few MCs who doesn't need stellar production to really shine. Like he's, to me, like that's how Big was to me. Like Big could rhyme over break beats and sound incredible. He could rhyme, you know, over a break and do dreams. You know what I mean? And it just sounded incredible. Like Pusha is one of those artists to me. Like I've loved all three of his solo albums. You know, from Rafficane to every last one. I think I've ranked them all 5 mics. I love all of them. Listen to them all to death. So I think that's another thing about Pusha T. Veg, if you could pick 2 more, what would you say are your 2 sleepers of the year?
Sleepers?
Well, not sleepers, but they didn't make your top 5. You know, they didn't make the top 3. Maybe there's something in there in the mix that you don't think nobody would have heard of, or you know, but that you still rock with, but they ain't cracking your top 3 right now.
Well, I had a sleeper, but thinking about thinking about who would have made my top 3. I'm scrolling through the shit as I talk. Well, I'm gonna just go with sleepers. Well, no, I could give you 2. For me, Skyzoo album, I like that joint a lot. In celebration of us, kind of the same vibe as Royce the 5'9's album. Real personal stories, you know what I'm saying? Dope beats, rhymes, and all of that. And the other one for me is Nipsey Hussle Victory Lap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, you put that shit on, especially he's getting
on.
Yeah, that shit is fucking hot, man. Like every time I put it on, I'm like, why am I not listening to this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those if those would have been in my top 3 for sure.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Porsche?
For my Slept On, actually, it should also be in my top 3. It's probably one of my favorites of the year as well, is the Black Milk Fever album. And yeah, JP, I think, kind of touched on it. It's just, I think it's heavily slept on, actually, not even just a little bit slept on. No one really talks about it, but it's a solid album all the way through from start to finish. So, yeah, so that's my one. And then if I had to pick another one, it would be the Skyzoo, but it's my number 2. So I decided, yeah, not to really say it.
What about you, JP?
With Slept On, I'm gonna have to agree with Vegas with one of his ones, Victory Lap by what's his name again?
Nipsey Hussle.
Nipsey Hussle, yeah. That joint right there, man. And it's not that it's slept on because he's doing really well off of it right now. But it's one of those things that didn't make my top 3, if you will. But it was a solid album, solid production. You know, that gets me all the time. And then another one, this one just came out. I think it'll probably get ignored by the masses, but it's an instrumental album because I love listening to instrumental albums. He's part of the Soul Council with Ninth Wonder. It's E. Jones, Dead Stock Volume 2. Incredible. This album is incredible. Like, it's all instrumentals, but the beats is hard. He used a lot of break beats and all that. I mean, musically, it's insane. And I've been rocking with it all week, and it's crazy. It's really crazy. So,
and what's his name?
E. Jones.
Jones. All right.
Yeah.
No doubt. What about you, Jace?
Going left, man, and it's just because the vibe I've been on lately. It's actually not even hip hop. It's more jazz, R&B fusion, if you will, or. So I think like maybe 2 years ago, Yusef Kamal, was it a year ago or 2 years ago? Yusef Kamal came out with an album. Was it Black Focus was the name of it?
Me lying, bro. I ain't one of them hip hop niggas who act like I listen to jazz all day. I can't call it.
But so Yusef Kamal was the name of the group. It was one dude, Yusef, another dude named Kamal. Well, they're working together on Kamal Williams' album. He just had an album recently drop out called The Return. If you like that first album, you'll definitely like this. It's kind of a continuation of where that one left off at. And then also Robert Glasper working with a whole bunch of artists. He's got Terrace Martin. He's got Christian Scott. What's my man's name? They basically came together. Bobby McFerrin's son, Taylor McFerrin.
Okay.
Yeah, Taylor McFerrin.
Yeah.
And is Chris Dave on it too? I don't know. I don't think he is. But they came together and put out an album, R&R Now. It's a very dope album with a lot of features on it. But if you like black radio, in my opinion, you'll like this album as well.
No doubt, no doubt. Gnu, what about you? Gnu, what about you? Gnu, you can hear me?
I don't think I can hear you.
Yeah. All right, no doubt, no doubt.
Drop that.
And for me, I gotta go again with the Victory Lap. Like JP in Vegas said, to be honest, I ain't never really heard nothing about Nipsey Hussle. The only thing I knew about Nipsey Hussle was that was Lauren London's man. Like, I don't even know where the fuck dude came from. Nothing like that. Like the new school or whatever, skinny nigga with the braids or whatever. But I love that joint. Jake One did some joints on there. That's crazy. I don't know the names of them. And then that nigga like kind of gave me my catchphrase that I use now with my kids in the hood. Just hustle and motivate. Like, you know, that's my new hashtag. Like, so I love that joint. And I know that these are some dudes who I know either people you fuck with or you don't. I gotta go with that Supreme Clientele, man. I love Griselda, man. Conway and Westside Gun and Benny the Butcher, them niggas, I love them. I know, like you said, Vegas, the boom, 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 man. I love that shit, man. They
boom, 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 do.
Niggas that have a song called Boom, 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 and just do that shit, like all that shit all day, man. I love that shit. Him, Conway, and Benny the Butcher, man. Like, yo, them three guys. So I gotta go with the Supreme Clientele. And the sleeper is definitely that Sky Zoo. The joint, I wanted to look up the words, and the joint I was talking about, Love Me, he says, love me like the drummer. Love me like that, like never running out of run. Love me like what they sung before they hung us. Then he's like, and then love me like you were Vanita Browder. Picking us outside and you just trying to ease the crowd up. Knowing that your heart died, make your heart beat louder until the speakers blow and lift you up from around us. Like, he just goes in so much on not only that song, but the whole album, which is dope too. Now, here's a wild part that I noticed from everybody. Vegas, you made a great point, man, that two of the most anticipated albums, Nas and Black Thought, were not mentioned at all. Vegas, why didn't Black Thought or Nas crack your top 5?
Well, the Nas shit is whack, so let's get that out the way.
Okay, that's how you really feel, Vegas. Okay.
Just get it out the way. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, man, it's a dud, but actually that's kind of his ratio. He puts out a very great album, then he puts out and then he comes back with another great album. So I'm looking forward to the next one. But I really like the Black Thought joint. I just don't like it more than the other 3 I had. So
I gave you a chance to pick it, and you picked 2 more over it.
Well, because it's compared to those other joints, you know what I'm saying? Those are 4 albums with more concepts, and I like Black Thought joint because it's short and because he just spitting. And that's another one like the Pusha T. When I hit play and that first track plays, I'm locked in because that shit is just hot. You know what I'm saying? But I can't put it over, you know, albums that are just, you could tell there was just thought and time and, you know, everything put into it, you know what I'm saying? Whereas Black Thought, you know, that shit is just, you know, get your bars and here goes some beats and let's go. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's the one thing I do like about Conway and all of them because they just rap, you know, but I can't put that above like a quality project that's covers a number of areas. It's just difficult for me to do that though.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Portia? What, you know, Nas or Black Thought, 2 of the most anticipated albums don't make your top 5. Why?
Well, actually, I love the Black Thought album. The Nas album, I mean, we already talked about it, but it seemed rushed. I don't, just like Vegas said, if I put it on a list, one of these other albums would have to go, and I just don't think that I wasn't willing to do that. So Nas's, like Nasir wasn't going to make my list anyways. The Black Thought album I love and I listen to fairly frequently, but I find myself going back to like Fever or Fonte or one of those a little bit more. But I do love the Black Thought album. And I mean, I've debated people on Twitter the entire week that it dropped and everything. So yeah, I mean, it's just the other ones, like Vegas said, they're like complete albums, and Thought is just spitting. That's what he does. He's a spitter. He just comes with a lot of really good lyrics, but it just sort of that's what it is. So yeah.
All right, no doubt. What about you, JP?
I mean, I can't really think of an instance where I would go back to an album where the beats weren't great and the MCs were. But
Okay.
so it's like for both projects, the beats weren't great to me.
Right.
They weren't great. It's not great enough for me. I don't care how good the MC is. If you rhyming over trash, it's still, you know, it's 50% trash, 50% good. That's not a good grade. So it's like it's difficult. So that's how I feel about, you know, and I've listened to them both several times, but I don't know how often I'll go back to them in the future.
Right.
So that's why they didn't crack it for me.
All right. And what about you, Jace? I mean, you went to a whole nother genre before naming these albums, nigga. A whole nother. You done went to a whole nother. You was like, fuck, man. You done left the whole hip hop spectrum. So why the albums ain't make your list, man?
Bro, so the Black Thought album wasn't. It was
Trying to figure out a nice way to say it.
Right.
no, I caught myself because I was about to say something that wouldn't have came out right.
Okay.
It wasn't enough music. I was gonna say it wasn't long enough, but coming out from a guy,
I understand.
it wasn't enough music for me. But I was happy. Can't say satisfied either. I was happy with the content,
Okay.
but it wasn't enough of it. The Nas album, I was not pleased with the album.
Okay. All right. I just was like, I thought some portion, I thought you would have had Thought, because you know we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
I thought you would have had it. So when you didn't have it, I'm like, damn, nobody had Thought or Nas.
I love Thought, man. You know that we've had conversations about that, but
Right.
it wasn't.
Yeah, I think for me, and I'm wondering, you know, because we're all, you know, close in age, like I kind of felt like with the Thought album, I think with the Book of Rhymes and the Fonte, that kind of showed me for the first time that I want more from my MCs than spitting. You know, like at 44, I want more. You know what I mean? And I kind of felt like the Thought, like Vegas said, I have nothing wrong. Thought's from Philly. Come on, I'm from Philly. I love Thought, but that's what he does. It's almost like I almost look at Thought like AND1. Like back 10 years ago, I would have loved to go to an AND1 game and see niggas get crossed over and hit the ball with the head, Harlem Globetrotter shit. I'm not paying for that shit now at 44. You know what I mean? So I'm just wondering, and I said this to Porsche, I'm like, yo, it's kind of like Thought, if Thought did this album when I was 19, it's like, I was basically saying like, it's like Thought is the same MC he's been for the last 20 years. There hasn't been any growth. And is there anything wrong with that? You know, like, so I guess the question I'm asking y'all is, putting that Thought album, and let's say like, because he has 3 more volumes coming, or more volumes coming with Knife, but if he just keeps spitting and that's it, I'm not asking, is it whack? It's not whack, but does that satisfy you the way that a Royce or a Fonte album is? You know, is Thought ever going to be able to crack that if all he does is keep spitting? What do you think, Veg?
I don't think I'm gonna care as much if he give us another 7 songs of just spitting. Because I'm good with the 7 we got. I like them.
I thought he gave us 5 though, right?
Oh, yeah, whatever. I didn't know the number.
Okay, all right.
What, you know, I'm good with that. I don't need any more of that. You know what I'm saying? Unless he's gonna put out one that he's collaborating with people, but chances are he's just gonna spit. I think.
But I mean, like, let's say if this was a full album, 14 songs of just spitting, do you think that would have cracked your list over Fonte or, you know, Royce talking about issues and talking about things in life, talking about things you relate to? Because I feel like for me, I'm going to always go back to a Fonte or a Royce before I go back into a fill in the blank rapper just spitting. Like, even though Push only talk about coke, that's some good fucking coke. So I'm going to go back to that. But, you know, will that keep? I'm just trying to figure out if I'm the only one who's like, I need more from my MCs.
Well, let me say this. Like, every time I do best of the year, I always choose a variety. And that's because, you know, it's been a lot out. So if he's the one album where he's just spitting and all them shits is hot, he's gonna make my top 5 of the year off of that. You know, I don't need him to do what they did, but because, like you said, he's been rhyming like that for so long, I wouldn't mind getting to know who the fuck Black Thought is as a person and his upbringing, and you know what I'm saying. Basically, I get what you're saying. Like when you look at Fonte's skill level, you look at Royce the 5'9" skill level, and you know Black Thought was right there with them. They take their skills and apply it to storytelling and personal, you know, testimonies. That's what he needs to do. Take the way he spits and apply that to some shit that we can relate to, and it's even better. You know what I'm saying? So I can see how somebody would want him to do more. But you know, shit, Trust the Shooter was nothing but spitting, and that shit made my top 5 that year. So I can't complain about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what about you, Porsche? I know you love the album, but
I do. So for me, okay, so for me, like and I've said this before, I think, Kill, we've had conversations about this where I don't, like if I want storytelling, I'll go to like Big. If I want spitting, I'll go to Thought. If I want something like sort of, you know, socially conscious, I'll go to Common or somebody like that. Thought is, I don't want storytelling from Thought. I don't want anything but spitting from Thought. So for me, when he puts out albums like this, that's exactly what I want from him. He has the skill set to do that. He's good at it. He knows he's good at it. It's always solid. And nobody's ever complained that he's not a good spitter. Right. People are always complaining that he's not a good storyteller. He's not good at, you know, all these other things that he probably doesn't want to be good at. So for me, I don't go into a Thought album wanting, you know, Big's storytelling abilities or Nas's storytelling abilities. I go to hear, you know, his rhyming, his just straight spitting. That's what I go to Thought for. So if he wants to put out 3 volumes of that, I'll take 3 volumes of that. I'm good.
Right. Now, I feel you. I think it was too, and I don't know if Kat saw it, he had done an interview before the album came out. And somewhere I read something like this was going to be Thought's most personable album or something like that. So I think then it was the expectations for me a little bit too, to see this interview with him talking about his mom being murdered, his dad being murdered, you know, talking about these things. And I think the album dropped and I'm like, you know, it sounds like, nigga, you just recorded this coming straight from Hot 97. Like you spitting from Flex Show. Like, you know what I mean? So again, nothing's wrong with it. I'm not saying anything. Again, just for me. JP, what about you?
Well, I feel like the beats just got to be better, man. Like Thought, from listening to all the Roots albums, he's told stories within certain songs within those albums. So it's not like he's not a storyteller. Yeah. But ultimately, if the beats are good and you spit, and I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, personally, I don't care. I really don't care what your subject matter is. You can be talking about guns and drugs and girls, and if it's whack, I don't want to hear it. You could be talking about uplifting the community, doing right by women. If it's whack, I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want, if you got them bars and that beats, I'm good with that. Like, I'm just like Vegas said, I could take that one or whatever. Thought, I'm good with that. Just give it to me. I'm good with that.
Yeah, but no, I feel you too. I didn't feel like the beats was on point too. But
yeah,
So if I say that shit, I'm a night. You know, I can't say that shit because it's like, yo,
right, come on, Kel, you hating.
It's like, yo, here's the wildest part. I've told this story a million times. I'll be like, I went to Lib and Ninth to the album, but it's always kind of been Ninth with the Soul Council. So I thought it was Ninth and Talib doing the album. And I heard the song, and I was like, yo, that shit is stupid. Ninth killed that beat. Then I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's High Tech. My fault. Like, I be wanting to like the nigga. So it's not like I don't like him. Like, or I heard the joint, the one song I do like on the Thought joint is the joint Thank You, when he's thanking people, sampling the Charade joint from D'Angelo. I'm like, okay, Ninth, I hear you. And then it's like, oh, that's Crisis. Shit. Here we go again.
Right.
I'm always trying to get this nigga some props, and then I look up, and it's not him. So, Jace, what about you?
Damn, I forgot what the question was. Repeat the question. I'm sorry.
The question was basically, I realized, like, here's the wild part. For years, Thought has always been incredible to me. Yeah. I think because I'm always looking, I'm always the person who wants the well-rounded MC. I want the well-rounded player. I don't want just Vince Carter who can dunk out the gym or this nigga who can cross you over.
I got you.
When it's time with me, I gotta put Royce above Thought just for the simple fact. You know that he doesn't do that. But what do you think?
So here it is. I'm back. I'm getting old. Y'all pardon me.
Mhm.
No. The point I was going to make. God, Pusha. Yo, I swear I'm getting old. Pusha T gets a pass for constantly reinventing himself, reinventing the drug flip. And everybody's cool with that. Nobody's expecting him to evolve. Right? I'm cool with Thought just spitting.
Okay.
If he evolves, I will take that. If he can constantly come off the bench, if that's the role he decides to settle into, and give me 20 and 10 every night, and it's helping the team, I'm cool with that.
All right.
There are a lot of people that can't spit the way he can spit. There are a lot of people that can't stand up to the competition he stood up with on certain tracks. How many people have you heard on a track with Pun and actually hang? You know, I can't tell you that many people that I don't think Pun didn't chop the head off of. Right. I'm just throwing it out there.
I can throw a couple people, but neither here nor there. We're not no disrespect to Pun. But no, I feel you. Now tell me this. Coming up to the new year, I tried to find a list, but with this whole new dropping albums out of fucking sky, like nowhere, they really don't even have these lists anymore. So are there any MCs or albums that you would want to hear from? Like, for example, one of mine is for a while ago, I think most put it out there that Black Star was doing a whole album with Madlib. You know what I mean? I would love to still hear that. I know Talib said that shit was news to him. Yeah, we in the studio working on the album. So Talib was like, oh, we are? You know, so I don't know how true that is, but I would love that album. Again, I don't know where this is. Sci-Hi the Prince, who y'all know I love fucking No Dope on Sunday, said that he was going to be getting one of these 7 produced Ye albums. You know what I mean? I'm interested in that because I do feel like Sci-Hi is an incredible MC. I would love to hear the Nas album that was supposed to be the Nas album, because I don't think that this Nasir was, when he was like, the album is done. I know that this ain't that shit. So I would still love for that to come out. And here's the wild part. The Roots supposedly have an album. I think this is their last one on Def Jam called Endgame. I've heard that basically up at 30 Rock, they have a recording studio there, being the house band. So they said they recorded 265 songs. Quest has got me in my bag because I'm like how niggas are with Jay. Like when people like, oh, we want Reasonable Doubt. I want Philadelphia again. So one of the things that Quest said was, we're recording the way we did when we did Philadelphia. You know what I mean? I know they got Jace. What's that dude who plays all that fancy shit on the drum pads? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Stro Elliott.
I've seen Stro Elliott, them in the studio doing some stuff, some real hip hop. I've always said I felt like the Roots went away from hip hop. They've been, I don't know what the fuck they are, but I'm kind of hyped for those albums. So those would kind of be like my 4 albums that I'm like, I don't know if they're coming, but these are the 4 albums that I hope are coming our way for the rest of the year. Veg, do you have any joints like that?
I have 2 that are coming, and one that I wouldn't be mad if it happened. One that's coming, I believe, in the fall is Schoolboy Q's next album. I love his last 2 albums, man. He's like gangster rap with a lot of flavor. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? His beats just so slept on, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, obviously Kendrick is the biggest one out of TDE, the most successful, but they got a lot of dope ass MCs over there, like J-Rock, who just released an album. And Schoolboy Q will be putting some shit out that be making me feel like he need to be kind of like right there with 1A with Kendrick as far as the album releases. Another one.
Tell me this. I never gotten a dude like that. Why do you think he's not? Like, do you think TDE isn't pushing him? Do you think Kendrick just has more appeal? Like, what is it that if he's that close to Kendrick that he can't get that type of shine?
I think he's a little bit more gangster rap. Kendrick ain't really gangster rap. He's kind of like a rapper, and he kind of became a little bit more like a conscious rapper lately. But Schoolboy Q is like, you know, oh, that's the thug out the crew. You know what I'm saying? But even when you listen to his albums, you know what I'm saying, he's talking about some of that gangster stuff, but everything doesn't sound like, you know, oh, it's gangster or bust. You know what I'm saying? Everything is dope. Like, I think when I really started to like him was the Oxymoron album, which, you know, it's just banger after banger on there. And
now
a lot of people
doing his beats? Like, is he? Because I always get all them other niggas.
I think it's different people.
Yeah, I know he had Alchemist on the joint.
Yeah,
some other different people. He had different people.
Yeah, I always get them niggas mixed up. Like, oh, you said I'm about to call nigga. Oh no, that's Madlib, brother. Who are we talking about?
Schoolboy Q.
Yeah, I get him mixed up with J Rock. Like, to me, all them other TD dudes just kind of like, I guess because Kendrick just overpowers them. I don't know if I go into their album hoping to hear, because I'm always listening to the beats first, and that's with J Rock. While I was waiting for Nas to get his shit together, I was like, well, fuck, let me listen to this J Rock album. And by like song 5, I was bored out of my fucking mind. So, but you know, I don't know if he don't have a dope enough voice. I don't know what the fuck it was, but I don't get it. I want to get it. I hate when I don't get shit and everybody else loves shit, but I just didn't get the J-Rock. But Schoolboy Q, I should start off with, what joint were you saying, the Oxymoron?
Well, Oxymoron was the one that did it for me. Okay. And he's a little bit different because his voice is a little bit more distinctive. He kind of switches up his voice in a way that Kendrick does. But he's just a little bit more on the gangster side of things. And then he had another album after that called Blank Face. That's
crazy.
That a lot of people liked. But yeah, man, he got another album coming, and I'm looking forward to it because so far he hasn't disappointed me.
You know what's up about Schoolboy Q? He ain't been rhyming that long either. Like I felt like he started rhyming late, like high school, or you know what I'm saying, right after high school type shit.
Now, is this CD, is this like a crew? Like, is this Kendrick's crew, or is this like on some old state property? Like they met each other in the crew or something like that. Like, you know,
this is Death Row Bad Boy style. TDE is the label,
right?
Basically, and all SZA, all of them are the artists,
right?
They
but they're not crew. This is just like they just all.
Nah, they're kind of like crew, but mostly it's like, you know, Rockefeller or anything like that, where it's just everybody coming out off of this one label.
Right. Yeah, like I didn't know, like niggas always thought Stain Property, like they was all from North Philly and they all knew each other. And it was like, nah, you know, Beans didn't know Free and Free didn't know PD and all of that. So it
could be that.
I think they all knew each other from the neighborhood because they all grew up in the same neighborhood. I think except for maybe SZA or Ab-Soul, I'm not exactly sure, but
you know how it used to be back in the day. Nelly get on, he bring on the Saint Lunatic. So I ain't know if Kendrick got on, and then he was like, all right, these my niggas from the block, they coming with me type thing.
Nah, J Rock was the first one to get signed.
Oh, word?
Yeah, he was first. Okay. He got signed first.
All right, that's
some of them dudes had projects out before Kendrick.
Oh yeah.
Kendrick's just the one that once Good Kid, Mad City came out, he kind of ascended. Which, you know, in some ways opened the door up for the rest of them to get acknowledged.
Pretty much.
Especially for somebody like me. The other one it's not straight hip hop, but I'm anticipating it probably more than anything. That's Anderson .Paak's album.
Oh, yeah.
I love that Malibu album. I still listen to it to this day. I'm hoping Dre don't overdo it. But I heard that Dre told him to do what he does. And if he needs him, he'll help him out, which is exactly what I want to hear because I want him to keep that vibe going. Mm-hmm. And then Dre can add, you know, what he does to it and just be even better. And the one album that, you know, hasn't been announced, been rumored, but I would like to have it is Kendrick and J. Cole collaboration. Drop that shit out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Fuck the Carters. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that shit if it was to ever come out. So those are mine.
Yeah, the wild part is Cole just been singing so fucking much, man. Like, I just want him to stop singing, man. Like, Drake just opened a fucking door for that shit, man, and it ain't never gonna close again, man. Like, I don't know if you remember this time we was at the station. I don't know if he was there yet, but All City came through, and one of the niggas from All City was like, "Yo, Kill, I sing," and I was like, "Oh, that's okay." Like, what the fuck? You know, I'm like, yo, you can't sing over fucking the actual or Price. Like, you know, he was like, nah, I'm gonna be singing shit. And it just, you know, it's so funny when people have ideas for stuff and it just doesn't mesh at that time. And I know that niggas like, man, I was doing this shit fucking back in 1995 and niggas wasn't ready for it. Now everybody's singing. But yeah, Cole and Dude may be dope. That may be dope. Porsche, what about you?
To be honest, I don't really have any anticipated albums that are upcoming. I don't know. I try not to have any hopes or like expectations from anybody, and I find myself less disappointed with each album I listen to that drops. So I try to stay away from that. But I just saw the other day on it was either Twitter or Instagram, Pharaoh Monch said that he's going to be dropping an album, and I tweeted something about it, and I think somebody responded like, if Pharaoh said he's going to drop an album today, it's not going to come out for 5 years. And I was like, God, like, of course, but I would love that if that could come out of the blue and just drop one day. I would love that. So that's the one.
Right. What about you, JP?
Well, here's one that I mean, it should have came out like 7, 8 years ago, but I have to go with Jay Electronica, man. He's one of those MCs to me, man, lyrically, that it's not enough sample size to say he's one of the greats, but he said enough for me. And what I've heard from him over the years, the little like that always make me be like, yo, he could be one of the best that ever did it, but he just never put out a full body of work. So that's how I feel about that. That'll probably never come. You know what I'm saying? So, and another one that I am looking forward to, and I don't know if he just tweeted about it, maybe this week or last week, but Q-Tip's album, The Last Zulu. That's supposed to be coming. So of course, you know, Queens, Tribe. I'm all in. So
all right, no doubt. What about you, Jace?
I was gonna say The Last Zulu, and I know that you probably could do without it, Kill, but I would love another Outkast album.
Why you say I could do without it? I mean, I totally could. Why you say that?
I think that we need another good Outkast album, man. That's all. I know that you, from previous dialogue with you, I know that you could do without it, but I would like to hear it in this climate.
See, my fear is just always, I feel like it's almost like when like Jordan fans be like, I wish he would have just retired and didn't come back and play for the Wizards. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's where we'll be at Outkast. And Outkast will have so many asterisks because, you know, it's like, I don't want Dre singing. I want Dre spitting. And I want organized noise. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's just going to be a list of asterisks. So, but yeah, I just think, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's almost, well, JP, did you want another Tribe? Like, Tribe is your favorite group. Outkast is my favorite group. Did you want another Tribe album after the Love Movement? Like, what did you feel about it? Were you hyped when you heard that?
What was I hyped when I heard there was a new album coming out a couple years ago?
Yeah, like, did you feel like Tribe needs another album, or were you good with, okay, they did what they did, the Love Movement, we moved on, or did you want one?
I wanted closure because the Love Movement wasn't closure. It was like, you know what I'm saying? So I mean, to hear that they came up, you know, I was excited about it. I was like, okay, because I was curious to see what a grown-up, evolved Tribe sound like, and I really got what I thought I was going to get, because people was expecting, you know, the album right after Midnight Marauders, like it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, Beats, Rhymes, and Life. They was expecting that. It caught up in that glory day stuff. So, but me, I was expecting something more mature, but still have that element of the Tribe that we knew. So, right. I mean, that's how I felt about it.
And I think that's the thing with the Outkast. The thing that got me hype about the Tribe is when I read the article in the New York Times about Phife and Tip rebuilding their friendship. Like that's what got me excited. Like up to that point where they was like, it's a new Tribe album drop, I'm like, I don't even want to hear that shit. Mm-hmm. Then when they was like, nah, he's, you know, Phife's been in Jersey at Tip's crib, he's staying there, they rebuilding their friendship. Then that's when I was like, all right, like that would have been my asterisk for Tribe. Like, I don't want them just sending verses and sending,
right.
You know, so that's like my asterisk for Outkast. I don't want, you know, Dre, I heard he live in New York now, you know, so I don't want 3,000 sending a verse and singing a hook. I need that. But yeah, I
want to hear the original Kanye album before he scrapped it and came out with the album that you like.
There was an album before this Ye?
Yes. There was a Ye album that he totally scrapped after the Charlemagne interview.
Yeah.
They gave us what
the Turbo Graphics joint.
Yo, why do you keep pointing at the camera like you? Like me, nigga, like this y'all. like that you like, you know, like I know I'm the only one who like it. I know.
I like it.
I know.
I like it. I don't really care for the lyrics, but I like the album. I don't think it's bad though.
Yo, I'm a sucker for just being honest on music, man. Like, you know, so him talking about the joint about Kim leaving him and the joint about his daughter, man, I'm a sucker for shit like that. But I did read his article saying where he didn't write those rhymes until like a week ago or a week before he did the album or, you know, like that. Oh, that's another thing I'm looking forward to that's supposed to drop tonight, the new Tiana Taylor album, because supposedly the one that we got wasn't the one that she wanted to put out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like it was something like she woke up Saturday morning and people were calling her like, oh, your album is out. And she was like, oh, they must have cleared all the samples. But I guess it wasn't the album that she thought Ye was going to put out. I don't know what it is, but she's supposed to be redoing it tonight, getting another version of it. You know,
isn't Drake dropping an album tonight as well?
Yeah, Drake is dropping a double album, which I don't need. But I, again, for all the Drake people who despise me and have told me so many horrible fucking things that I can't believe. It's scary how much people love Drake. Like, no, like grown ass men like are like pushing women out the way to get. Like, I'm dead ass serious, man. Like this new level of nigga groupie is crazy. Like, yo, Dave East told a story. They asked him, "What's the wildest thing you've seen?" He said, "I saw a dude and his girl. A dude push his girl out the way to get in a picture with me first." You know what I mean? And it's just like, yo, when a nigga is pushing his girl out the way to get in a picture with another nigga, but neither in there. Yeah, I want to hear Drake. I like Drake. I don't take him serious as an MC, but I like Drake. I mean,
I don't like Drake. I don't like Drake at all. I wish he would just stop doing music. Drake. I wish he would just move to Canada, somewhere up north, build himself, you know, the igloos that Canadians live in, and just stop doing music. I need him to just stop. And this double album kills me. And it kills me that people are calling it hip hop. And we know it's not going to be. It's going to be an audio diary of all his like emotional outbursts throughout the year, and you know that's what it's gonna be. I'm sorry.
Well, okay, Porsche. No, but this dude, no, in Canada. How don't you like Drake and you in Canada?
No, we gave him to you guys, so you guys can come, and we don't want him.
First of all,
you know what? I get that because here's the thing: Kobe claims Philly, and all Philly niggas like that nigga ain't from Philly, and this may be the second.
I honestly think Drake's lived in California longer than he's lived in Canada. I think he has. Like by that, California can have you.
All right. Okay. So you've been traded. What were you gonna say, Vag?
Huh?
Oh, I thought you was about to say something. I thought, well, are you gonna listen to the Drake joint? Are you anticipating it?
Somewhat. I don't know if I want to hear a double album. Like I'm a Drake fan, you know, mostly of the singing. It is supposed to be like part R&B and part rap, but I think the rap need to asterisk, and it ain't really got shit to do with the ghostwriting. It need to asterisk because he gonna be fucking taking Migos' whole style on a couple of them joints, and then probably really rapping on a number of them. But I don't know, because see, my thing with Drake is I like him, but I have no problem fucking criticizing him because, first of all, you name everything in a woman's purse. That's not what a man does. We don't know what the fuck is in there. We just know we need some lotion for our hands, and we hope it's in there. That's what men do. You know what I'm saying? Then every fucking record is some emotional shit about whose friend is who. That's what 16-year-old girls talk about. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I have problems with that when Drake does that. Like, nigga, who cares who's not your friend? Nigga, like, niggas don't care. Niggas care about, like, yo, you got the new 2K? That's all we care about. You know what I'm saying? And Scorpion. Come on, man. Niggas don't care about no Zodiacs, man. All we care about is the 70s joint with which position we on Bone Shorty, and that's the only time men care about Zodiacs.
I'm glad you saying this, bro. So the Scorpion, that's his sign or something. I didn't know why the fuck he was naming his out.
He's a Scorpio and Scorpion, and I said this on my podcast. I'll say it here because it was a very good joke that I made on the spot. But doesn't his album cover look like them do-rag album covers in the fly store with the nigga with the waves, like? You know what I'm talking about, nigga? They got the light skin niggas the way, like, oh, you gonna take a do-rag album cover? but nevertheless,
yo,
I got every Drake project. I probably don't like the first one as much as I like the others. But you know, that dude is just, he is who he is, you know. So
I just want Drake, if he's gonna do hip hop, do hip hop. Like I love the joint that just gave him with Rick Ross, like, you know what I mean? Even the joint Pound Cake that he did with Jay, I thought that was dope. You know what I mean? I would love to really have him get back with Boy Wonder.
Well, you got your man on this one, supposedly. People saying he got a premiere track.
Word? I don't even want that shit. I was
Neither do I, but
yeah, I figured that because I saw Premier like put it on his Instagram. I'm like, damn, Premier promoting Drake now and some shit. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. JP, you looking forward to this Drake joint?
Yeah, I'm definitely want to hear what he got to say. I really want to hear if he try to say anything slick about Pusha, knowing that he ain't really respond. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely gonna peep it out to see what it's about.
Supposedly, Cass, and I don't know if it's true or not. They're saying this, the song that never made it that he put out is gonna be on this album. You know what I mean? So, you know, and then Pusha had a good comeback to that on Drink Champs, and he was like, "Yo, I don't understand." He was like, He was like, "Yo, Jay Prince has nothing to help or save me and Ye from." You know what I mean? Like, why would he help me? Like, I don't know that nigga. Like, you know, don't do that because this shit gonna go too far. Like, artists. Like, why would you be fucking looking out for us? So I highly doubt that's on there. Jace, what about you?
As far as
listening to the Drake, are you sparking this tonight or?
It's probably gonna be a slow burn for me, and that's just because there are a lot of albums that were named on this podcast tonight that I still haven't listened to yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm cool with not having the latest Jordans, have some fresh Stan Smiths.
I know that's right.
All right. I see you with your doctorate degree over there, getting popping jewels out there. All right, no doubt. Now tell me this real quick. Supreme Blientele. Have y'all heard it? Do y'all like it? I know Griselda I know people who hate them. Like, yo, how can you listen to that slow, boring, no drums having shit? And I know people who like swear by Griselda. You know, Jace, do you like Griselda?
I do. I haven't heard the latest album though.
All right. What about you, JP?
I haven't heard it either.
All right, but do you rock with them? Like, have you heard?
I rock with them. What I've heard, I rock with them definitely.
All right. What about you, Porsche?
Yep, I've heard it. I like it. It's good. It's not like one of my favorites. I'd never really go back to it all that often, but it's good. Yeah, I like it.
All right. And what about you, Veg?
Look, I don't dislike it. I don't dislike it because, you know, I like that kind of rap, and I think like Benny the Butcher, I think that dude's nice. Conway been nice, you know, and I like Westside Gunn's voice, and I think he could do some stuff. But I think it's just the production, man. I think sometimes when it's just a loop after loop, some loops are dope, but I think maybe they can benefit from the 7-song per project treatment. Because if you give me 7 songs of that shit, I'll be playing it all the time. But there's only but so many times I can hear doop 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 on every fucking record. It's like, yo, nigga, like, yo, come on, man, that ain't no gun, nigga. Like, get the fuck out of here.
You know the thing I love about them dudes, and I feel you. The thing that pisses me off, man, is that when niggas. I used to do, and Vague, you know this, when we first started rocking together, I used to do that shit for Fnatt because I'd be like, yo, we doing a 5-song EP, we giving it away for free. I'm just looping some shit. I ain't even adding no drums to it. And niggas was like, yo, man, you can't just fucking throw a loop on that shit whack. And then Alchemist come out with Russian Roulette with like fucking 40 songs that's just loops, and niggas be like, oh, that shit is crazy. Like, yo, like, nigga, I was doing that shit in fucking 2011, and niggas was like, it's just the loop. And now Conway and Rock Marciano, now it's cool to get away with a loop. I agree with you. And I think what I do like about Supreme Blientele is that they got Pete Rock on it. Because it was dope to hear them over some real beats and not just loops all the time. You know, so I hopefully that's the way that, you know, they're going towards this. I'm still trying to figure out when the Shady debut is coming out, you know, because they keep dropping joints and it's like, yo, here's the album. I'm like, damn, when does this Shady album come out? But it is what it is. Jace, give them all the info, good brother.
IG at JTyler0801 and on Twitter at JERIKTYLER.
All right. Good. Yo, you been cooking lately?
I was just cooking up something when you called, man. I finally got that flame back. Shout out to Trust, man. He been hitting me on the humble, and he's starting to piss me off with some heat rocks.
Yeah, I told Trust stop emailing me, man. You keep me up at night, man.
Hey, hold up, what the fuck y'all talking about? You talking about you been cooking lately? I'm thinking of drugs, nigga. Like, what you talking about? Food?
Yo, B, let me explain something to you. We ain't that dumb, man. That's what my teens do. That's why 4 of my teens is locked up for murder, because these niggas went and killed somebody and post that shit on Instagram. We ain't talking about drugs and talking about it on the hangout. Nah, just make.
I got kids to feed.
Talking about cooking and heat rocks and shit. That's cold.
Nah, the boy Trust won't be sending us beats all the time. I stopped opening them shits because he just fucking. I gotta go to work the next day, man. I got shit to do. Trying to keep up.
I don't have to go back to work till September. I just throw that out there.
Yes, you got time. You got time. You got time. What's up with you, JP? Give him all the good stuff.
IG, Twitter, JPaz Music, JPAZ Music.
All right, no doubt. Porsche, what about you?
At Cherchez Porsche on Twitter and IG.
All right, and Vay?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Instagram TV at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my podcast on YouTube with the homie Tone from IntoTheDome.com. It's called That Time in Hip Hop.
Yo, bro, why don't you tell them about the new joint we got out?
Oh yeah, and you know we got a little rap joint out right now. It's called The Great American Bash. Got the homie Woods on there. Got Drizzlo from Philly. It's really like a homage to wrestling, but we flipping the wrestling, you know, vernacular and characters all in some rap shit. So check that out on SoundCloud. Well, it's coming to SoundCloud, but you can check it out on the Twitter and all that shit.
All right, no doubt. Y'all already know who it is with me, Kill 889, Twitter, IG. I will check y'all next week, y'all. Good looking.
All right, peace.